We continue live right here at Pittsburgh CW. Bob Pompeani and Gene Collier. And today the Pirate win made a winner of Richard Rodriguez, who got the win after they scored those 4 runs in the top of the 9th inning. So congrats to him. And the NBA is playing tonight, Gene. I know you're a fan of it.
Yes, well, I was watching some Sixers-Celtics.
It was the Sixers-Celtics, and all of a sudden it's a 4-point game with 4 minutes left. Philadelphia needs to win to force a game 6.
Celtics were up 10 when I started driving from the mansion. And I always enjoyed Sixers-Celtics because it was the series that was always on when I was a kid.
It was.
I love that series.
Well, we'll see. T.J. McConnell had a big game the other night. He started again. He's a distributor, and he makes them better, I think, in that role. But it's a 4-point game, and we'll have some highlights at 11 o'clock on KDKA, by the way. Let's go to John in Green Tree. Hey, John.
Hey, thanks for taking my call, man.
All right,
John. How are you?
Good. What's up?
What's going on with the Pirates, man? I just wanted to know what's going on with the Pirates. I just know that the Pirates won today. Great win by the Pirates, man. To come home against the Giants and then the Padres. Thank you very much.
Okay. There was no question in there, Gene.
What's going on with the Pirates?
What's going on? That is a question.
They won the first 4 games of the season. And now they're 21-16, so that means they've won 17 in the last 33, and I think you're up to date.
Thank you very much for that synopsis. We appreciate it. Let's go out to John in Banksville. Hey, John.
Gentlemen, how you doing tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good. Want to chat and give some comments about what JR said today about there will be some changes this year. I was very much down on Letang, not just the playoffs, but all year. Seems like he forgot how to play defense. But some comments I heard that made me agree with maybe we should keep him due to the fact that he said he came back from an injury, he wasn't ready, and he's going to work out, and maybe he'll be the Letang of old next year. But as far as trades go, I wouldn't put it past JR to trade anybody. If he gets the right deal, he's going to trade him. But I think one of their main needs is to get a good stay-at-home defenseman because Dumoulin and Letang together, to me, is a disaster just waiting to happen. And I think that's one of the things. And I think the people he'll probably deal is maybe a package with your or with your Sherrys, your Rusts, your Kuhnackles, things like that. And I just wondered your opinion on that.
I think it would take a bigger name to get maybe what you want. But I do agree. They had a guy like that with Ian Cole who was in that description. And to play with Chris Letang, someone made the analogy the other day, I thought it was a pretty good one. It was like playing football with Troy Polamalu if you're a safety. You got to know when to cover for him when he starts doing his thing, Gene. And it's not easy to read that. Dumoulin now has become his own Bobby Orr. I mean, he's confident. To move all over the place, jump in the play. You can't have 2 of those things on the same line. I agree. But who do you get? And who's available, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, that I don't know. I mean, the stay-at-home defenseman always preferable to the stay-out-all-night defenseman. But I don't know. I don't know who's available. I don't.
Yeah, but I think that would be somebody they'd like to have, somebody more responsible in his own end so that Chris can do his thing. And if you have that complement, and it takes time to develop it, make no mistake. Let's go to Bernie in Plum. Hey, Bernie, how are you?
Hey, Bob, how are you?
We're good, thanks.
Me too. Just a couple observations, and I'd like to hear your opinion about the Pens. First of all, the Brassard trade did absolutely nothing for them this year. Maybe next year it'll work out because he can play. The second one is after the 4th game when Chris Letang got his head handed to him at the end of the game by, I guess it was Yoshi, he was useless in the last 2 games. And I hate to say that because I love the guy. Okay, and I guess the third thing was I thought Mata was their best defenseman the whole playoff time, and you got to take this into consideration too. I guess is that he's such a young guy, but he's like a rag doll. They hit him and he goes down. And
well, first of all, I think Dumoulin was their best defenseman. Mata has been good the whole year. He played every game, which is the first time in a significant move for him, Bernie. Number 2, I don't think Letang was useless. He scored a goal, the only goal of game number 6. And he creates chances. It's just that he gets caught up sometimes in these opportunities to pinch in, and then when you do it and you get out of position, you can be exposed really quickly. And turnovers play a big part in that, Gene, and they had a lot of them in that last 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, I think the winning goal in the overtime in Game 6, I mean, technically it's Letang's fault, but that was kind of an accidental situation there where the puck just kind of leaked out right onto Kuznetsov's stick. I don't know what more to say about Letang, except that if he's gone, people will miss him. I mean, he's a big-time talent.
He really is. And a lot of teams would like to have that big-time talent, which would make you think that he can get something in return if they do, in fact, think about trading him. So there are going to be a lot of questions that are going to be asked all through the South season. Let's go to L in West Mifflin. What's up, L?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
Anytime.
I just want to make a comment here, and by no stretch of the imagination am I a Washington Capitals fan. And I listen to sports talk pretty much, and not once, unless I missed it, have I heard anybody tip their hats to the Capitals for maybe doing what they did to Penguin. And the Penguins just, instead of what everything the Penguins did wrong, maybe the Capitals just outplayed them, and you can't win every time, you know?
Well, I think they did. I think on this show we talked about the goaltending was a check mark for Braden Holtby. It wasn't even close, I thought, in this series. You know, Matt Murray's had a good 3-year run, but also, I mean, he wasn't as good as he was last playoff or the playoff before.
Well, my point being is when the Steelers lose to Jacksonville, both times they tip their caps to those guys. I haven't heard anybody tip their caps to the Capitals.
See, I disagree. I think more people were angry with the Steelers than they were the Penguins in this situation. Gene, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I disagree with the caller. I mean, I talked with Chris Letang right after the game. One of the first things he said was you just have to hand it to the Caps. You know, they did a great job over there. Last night on this show we talked about what a great job Barry Trotz did. He wound up beating Mike Sullivan without 3 of his top 6 forwards. I think the Capitals are getting the credit they deserve from the people who should give it to them. I reject that notion.
Me too. Let's go to Dave in Moon Township. What's up, Dave?
Yes, I want to talk about the ridiculous comments by Pitt fans on their message boards and also the ridiculous tweet by your coworker, Richie Walsh, saying shame on Penn State for not renewing the contract to play. I have a news flash for all these Pitt fans. Penn State has no obligation to sell out Heinz Field for Pitt, and that's what they do when they renew the contract, because Pitt fans talk a good talk, but they don't walk the walk because they don't show up, and the only way they sell out that Heinz Field is if Ohio State or West Virginia or Notre Dame or Penn State sells it out for them.
You would be correct with that. I don't have any problem with what you just said there, but I do think it would be good for both. I just like geographical rivalries. I like teams that are close together, and I say this about Pitt and West Virginia. I realize they all have different feelings about themselves, where they are, who's better. Egos get into play here, Gene, but I think for the sake of, you know, rivalries, football, people around here, I think it's always good for teams like this to play one another. I don't think it's ever going to happen again, though.
No, I don't think it is. I agree with you, Bob. I think Pitt-Penn State was a great thing in its day. Pitt-West Virginia was a great thing in its day. It's really a disservice to the fans of this area that those 3 teams don't play each other. But if they're more interested in the money than they are in the fan base, why do I care? I don't care.
All right, we got to take a break here. Let's try line 2 before we go. That's Shane in White Oak. Hey, Shane, what's up?
Hey, Bob. I just wanted to say great job this year covering the Pens in every sport. Just some encouragement. I know you get a lot of negative stuff on here. I just want to say
well, I appreciate that, but whatever it is. People have opinions. They can share them.
Oh, yeah.
What else?
I just want to say good job.
Thanks.
Yeah, he did do a great job.
All right, Shane. Well, I mean, it's fun what we do, isn't it, Gene?
Beats working, Bob.
It beats working for a living, right? I guess. We do work. There is tension.
Speak for yourself, Bob.
And you reach a point where you need a little break, and maybe we've reached that point, do you think?
So.
We need a break.
Yeah.
That's what I mean right now. Let's take it. We'll be back right after this.